Hi there, welcome to Two Birds. I'm Fiona, and today's class is a 20-minute express core flow, moving steady through a series of unhurried strengtheners for your abs, your side body and your back. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for joining. Namaste. And begin your practice in child's pose, Balasana. Taking your knees about hip width apart, big toes to touch, arms extending forward, all your fingers spread equally. And we'll just start with 3 deep breaths and then some flowing, friendly movement to mobilize your spine and bring some awareness to your core. As you feel yourself breathe in, come up onto all fours, separate your feet. Gently arch the spine, send your gaze up, widening through your collarbones. As you exhale, dome your spine, feel your low belly hollow and sit your buttocks back toward your heels, big toes to touch. Same sequence twice more, coming up onto all fours, gently arching your spine. And exhaling, rounding your spine, sitting your buttocks toward your heels. One more round, just encouraging your breath to sync with your movement. And exhaling, child's pose. Keep your arms reaching forward, transitioning into downward facing dog. And we'll continue to flow, taking the hips up and back. Reach the heels down, perhaps even a little bend in the knees here as you start your practice. And on an inhale, we're going to ripple forward to a high push-up, bringing your shoulders over your wrist, just pausing for a moment, eyes to the top edge of your mat, legs and abdominals active. As you exhale, bend the knees and flow back to your downward facing dog. We'll do that twice more with your own breath rhythm, floating forward to a high push-up, dropping the knees, rippling back, downward facing dog. Nice smooth transition to plank, and then back to downward facing dog. Keeping your hands planted once more, float forward to your plank pose and lower your knees to the floor. Pushing actively down through your hands, you're going to extend your left leg all the way back, coming onto the balls of your toes, and drop the right knee to the floor. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, curl the right knee up into a core lunge in toward your chest, round the spine. And as you breathe out, set the right knee down, slowly raise your left leg up to the height of your hips. Left toes point toward the floor, buttocks, hamstrings, abs engaged to support your shape. And then continue just switching, left leg down, right knee hugs in and up. Right knee down, left leg lifts. 4 more. Slow and controlled. Gathering your abdominal muscles in toward your center, keeping your left leg engaged and toes flexed. Now keeping your left leg extended at hip height, point your left toes and extend your right arm forward to frame your ear. So deep breath in here. As you exhale, lower your left toes and your right fingers to tap to the floor, and as you inhale, lift. 5 more, just nice, slow, controlled movement. So your hip points are pointing down. Notice if your abdominals start to spill. Try and stay engaged and stable through the midsection of your body. Now we're going to take our left leg and our right arm away from the midline of our body. So out to the corner edges of your mat, reach out, and then back to center. And you have 5 more. Breathing, moving with your breath. Abdominals engaged. And back to center. Now place your right hand down and extend your left leg out to the left. Just placing your left toes in line with your right knee, so you've got gate legs. And extend forward through your arms, your hands to take a forward fold. 3 deep breaths. Arms can just line up with your ears here. Head can hover. And slow the rhythm of your breath. And then go ahead, walk yourself back onto all fours, and we'll set up for the second side to balance out. And taking your left knee to the floor underneath your hips, and extend your right leg out straight and come onto the balls of your toes. Left knee lifts up for a core lunge. As you exhale, just hold here for a moment, push into your hands, and then lower your left knee and raise your right leg to the height of your hips. Just pause, make sure your hip points are pointing down. And then switch. Right leg down, left knee in, and switch. You've got 3 more. Take it slow, there's no rush. Really feel and empty your lungs. And then keeping your right leg extended here, point your right toes. Left arm forward. And just balancing here, go ahead, lower and tap your toes and fingers to the floor and lift on your inhale. So keeping that integrity through your abdominal core, so there isn't a trough through your low back. You're nice and firm and full in the low back. Just a few more. And then we come back to center, arm and leg out wide now, away from the midline of your body, and then back to center. So your leg stays at hip height, arm stays at shoulder height, and your gaze stays very firmly down toward the floor, steady and focused to hold you balance. And last one. And then bring your left hand down, right leg steps out to your right, line your right toes up with your knee, and just walk yourself forward. Arms walk forward. Chest melts down toward the floor. Just taking the heat out of your hands and your wrists here. You can soften your neck and your jaw. And then walking the hands back, we'll transition into a downward facing dog. Hands shoulder width apart, hips up and back. And reach your heels heavy. We're not here for long. We're going to take a stretch out through the shoulders, little bend in the knees, looking back at your feet. Walk your hands back to your feet at the back edge of your mat, and just letting your heels land. And just floating your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers, deep bend in the knees. And take a forward fold over your legs. Just letting your shoulders release by lifting the shoulder heads up away from the mat. Hands can float away from your back any amount here. Crown of the head points down toward the floor. And pressing solidly into all 4 corners of your feet. Keep your hands interlaced. And leading with your heart, come all the way up to stand. Bring your torso upright. And shift your fists over to your right side waist. And try and draw the elbows toward one another as if you're trying to get them to kiss. And then just lean your right ear over to your right shoulder, stretch out through the left side of your neck. And then bring yourself back upright and take your fists over to your left side waist, elbows point back and toward each other, left ear, left shoulder. And then back to center. Release your hands behind you, stretch them out and up overhead, send the gaze up. As you exhale, forward fold over your legs, deep bend in the knees as you go. As you inhale, look forward to the top edge of your mat and walk yourself out to a plank pose, just rocking forward onto the toes, walking the hands forward, bring the shoulders over the wrists. And once again, firm in through the belly, minimize the dip in your low back, and take your own count of 5 to lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. Try not to worm down or melt down. Knees, chest, chin if you need extra support. And coming all the way down onto your belly, we're going to take a few variations of Locust pose, working and warming our back muscles either side of our spine. First version, we take our forearms in front of us, parallel with the top edge of the mat, stacking the forearms, and then rest your forehead on top of your hands. Step the feet out, hip width apart behind you or even to the corner edges of your mat. Point the toes. First round, we're just lifting our torso and our head. Head stays stuck to your hands, and as you inhale, lift the arms up away from the floor and exhale back down. So feet stay on the floor here, pelvis pushes down and the abdominals lift. So you're staying engaged, even though you're working just the back muscles here. Also trying to keep some awareness in your abdominal core to help support the movement in your low back, middle back and upper back. Last one. And then rest your forehead into your hands, hands to the floor. And then just raising the legs as you inhale, lift the legs, engage the glutes and the hamstrings and lower down. And you've got 5 more here. So legs are really straight and active, toes are pointing. And once more, front of the pelvis is lifting up, almost like you're trying to get the belly button up away from the floor. And rest everything down. Next variation, we'll take our arms forward and take the hands together in front of you and take the legs out wide here. Point the toes, and you're going to raise your arms and your legs just to a hover. Forehead looks down along with your eyes. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, cactus your arms, elbows bend, and take the legs together. As you inhale, swim the arms forward and widen the legs away from one another. So bend the elbows, feet together, inner thighs working. Inhale, extend, and bend the elbows. And just keep moving with that. We've only got a couple more. And see if you can hover yourself a little higher from the floor. Last one. Rest coming up. And then bring the hands all the way back. Slide them around your ribs. And press back up onto all fours. And then take your buttocks to your heels for child's pose. You can keep your arms reaching forward here. Just find rest. Momentary pit stop. A few deep breaths in and out. And then gently peel up. Bring your feet around in front of you to come to sit in the middle of your mat. Find your sit bones. Bend your knees. Feet are on the floor to start. And then just take your hands, slip them behind your knees, rock back onto the soft part of your buttocks, raising the legs to a right angle for boat pose. Now reach your arms alongside your legs, and we'll take a deep breath in, keeping the lumbar spine nice and tall. As you exhale, tip back and lower your right leg to a hover. As you inhale, come back up to boat pose, knees together, torso more upright. Exhale, switch left leg, lowers, and you lift up. So if you need a little extra support, still working on your core strength, your hand can catch the back of your bent knee. Just a few more here. Try and keep your extended leg really straight, hovering, and bring the knees back to balance over your hips as you lift your torso. Last one each side. And then place your feet to the floor, hip width apart, and find about a 3/4 bend at the knees. And as you inhale, extend your arms forward, sit nice and tall. And as you exhale, rounding your spine, tipping back, and C-curving your spine. As you inhale, lift. And as you exhale, lower, dropping your ribs toward your hips to feel your abs engage. And last one here. And then we hold our C-curve, so lightly tipping back. We're going to cross our forearms into Shazam arms and stay really firm in your belly And just go ahead, tap your right knee to your arms. Exhale, tap the toes down to the floor, and we'll just switch left and right. Holding firm in the belly, ribs toward the hips. And really tall in the low back, so you keep lifting out of your low back. And now we'll just add a twist, bringing your opposite elbow to your opposite knee, side to side. Working our oblique muscles, last one each side, and then both feet to the floor. Keeping the arms where they are, just simply twist left and right like a Russian twist here. Arms stay at shoulder height. And you've got a last few here. Keep lifting out of the low back and release. Take your hands to the back of your thighs here and really slowly just lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Reaching your arms overhead when you arrive and stretch the legs out straight for a full body stretch. Deep breath in, full breath out. And now go ahead, bend your right knee to a 90-degree angle so the right knee stacks over your hip and extend, keep the left leg extended out. So last drill in this sequence, working obliques and transverse abdominis. Take your hands interlace behind the back of your head, inner elbows nice and wide. And as you exhale, lift and twist to your right and really hold in your twist here. So your shoulder heads are lifting up away from the mat. And now go ahead, float your left leg a few inches from the floor. As you exhale, raise the left leg up toward the ceiling and at the same time tap your right toes to the floor. Stay in your twist and continue on. Left leg lifting, lowering, right toes tapping and lifting. Scooping the ribs toward your hips. Last 3. And then keeping your hands where they are, we're just going to take a quick bike through the legs, crisscrossing, twisting left and right, biking out the legs. Last few. Hopefully you're warm in the belly now. And release. Gather the knees in toward your chest, rest your head back and take a breather. Little rock side to side. Second side coming up. You're just going to bend your left knee now to a right angle, raising the leg and extending, keeping the right leg extended. Last drill through this sequence. Take your hands behind the back of your head, and as you exhale, lift and twist to your left. Hold in your twist as best you can. Float the right leg a few inches from the floor, and as you inhale, raise the right leg up toward the ceiling, tap the left toes to the floor, and switch. Continue on, holding your twist, and concentrate on really lifting, trying to lift both shoulder blades up away from the mat as you move your legs. Try not to fling your legs, use a nice controlled movement. So you're relying less on momentum here, nice strong abdominal core to support the movement. There's a rest coming up. And then a quick bike out through the legs, both legs moving, one leg extended, one knee bent, twist toward your bent knee. Keep breathing, firm belly, last few. And release. Rest your head back. Tuck your knees in toward your chest, little rocks side to side. And placing your feet down on the floor for bridge pose. Arms alongside your body, heels quite close now in toward your buttocks, feet hip width apart. And take a deep breath in. As you exhale, gently roll up through your spine, pressing into your feet and lifting your hips up to a comfortable height. Thighs draw parallel to one another. Heels press into the mat and get the feeling that you're drawing your heels back toward your shoulders there, activating your hamstrings and your glutes, and you're also just stretching out through the front body, front of the spine, the abdominal wall. Deep breath in. Exhale, peel all the way down. Last little push. We're going to slip the hands behind the back of your knees in toward the chest, and then cross your legs so you catch hold of your feet. And we're just going to roll back through the spine with a little momentum, come all the way up and over your legs, and set yourself up on all fours, middle of the mat. Taking your forearms down, shoulder width apart, fingertips point toward the top edge of your mat, and step the legs out so you find your forearm plank. You might like to modify here with the knees down. Most importantly, just prioritize that firmness in the belly, feeling a fullness in your low back without TPing your buttocks up toward the ceiling. So pushing down through your inner wrists and forearms here, spreading the effort through your body, and we'll alternate here between forearm plank and sphinx pose. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, drop your knees down and melt down toward the floor, keeping your forearms down. When you arrive, just take a gentle arch through the spine, finding your sphinx pose. And now keeping your knees on the floor, as you breathe out, draw the chin in toward your chest, peel the hips up, pelvis up, low belly in and up, and look back. Inhale, return to your sphinx pose, gently softening the belly and arching the spine, shoulder blades slip down your spine. And then exhale, really slow, feel and gather your abdominal muscles in and up as you look back. And we've got 3 more here. Slow exhale, really trying to empty your lungs completely, hollowing out through the belly. And last one to complete your practice. And melt all the way down onto your tummy. Reach your arms forward, shoulder width apart, palms face down. Stretch your legs back. And then from here, very simply, push into your hands and lift your torso up so your elbows straighten. You get that nice satisfying stretch down the front of your abdominal wall. And then all the way down onto your belly. Hands by your ribs, push yourself back up onto all fours and rest back in child's pose to complete your practice, buttocks to the heels. Take a few resting breaths here, and if you have a few more minutes, take your time to rest down on your back in Shavasana, into that starfish shape through your body. Or you can sit quietly just to allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm, to tune in to that lovely warmth that you've created and dedicated to your abdominal core today. And thanks for practicing with me. Namaste.